Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. Please visit our website at classicalyoga.org, and there is a donate button if you would like to help us out. And please stand up for the Hindu, yoga, religious, spiritual, scientific, philosophical lifestyle. Today's podcast: deception or discovery? Na or va? Concealing, revealing. Many of you have heard the cliche when someone is being two-faced. And that generally means that a person is being deceptive, dishonest. They're saying one thing and meaning something else. This is obviously a bad characteristic. But two-faced can also be the recognition of the duality that is life, which also can be either good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. This is the natural duality that is life. The pleasure, the pain, sukha, dukkha, the likes and dislikes, raga, devesha. The basic understanding of from the no-thingness comes the big bang of duality, triality, quadrupality. In other words, the multitudinous nature of life. Cops and robbers, God and devil, heaven and hell, devas and asuras. This is the swing lola of life. In the Saiva Hindu Yoga Dharma, we sing a bhajan to Shiva, Sada Lola Hara Nama Shivaya. Sada, the truth of the swing Lola of life, the duality of life, everything in its opposite, from one extreme to the other. And living through this duality, it is destroying Hara, our ignorance, so that we eventually lead a balanced or sattvic life, a life of equilibrium, balance. And to the Saiva Hindu, Namah Shivaya is the Mahamantra, the Panchakshara mantra, the 5 sacred syllables. Na, Ma, Shivaya. Na is the concealing aspect of life, when we just don't know everything, obviously. Things are not all revealed to us, and in a very positive way. This is the growth process. As we don't give adult subject matter to young children, we let them, in other words, we're concealing some things from them and let them grow into it. That's the na. But it also can be deception. Ma is the deception of the bondages, the chains of life, like greed, anger, lust, lobha, krodha, kama. And then she stands for Shiva, putting the divine at the center of one's life, which then reveals Va, the reality of who we are, the Atmana. Ya, Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya. The concealing grace, understanding the bondages, the chains that we are under, putting the divine at the center of our life, which reveals our Atmana. Va, Ya, Na, Ma, Shi, Va, Ya. That little crash you just heard was our ashram Vahana, Kuchanavi, our little cat, who is discovering. So she knocked over something. No problem. Because as humans and animals, this is what we do. We seek to discover, explore life. Not being afraid to enter into life, not being afraid to make mistakes. Of course, as we go on this life journey, this discovery, we eventually figure out that being deceptive to others is not conducive to a healthy, satisfying, self-fulfilling life for ourselves and others. An important part of that process is not deceiving ourselves, So when we look at two-faced as being deceptive, we can ponder that maybe we deceive ourselves by being stuck in the extremes of right and wrong, heaven and hell, God and devil. Now, yes, there are rights and wrongs, but there are also nuances to life. Wisdom is understanding this difference. Remember that the definition of wisdom is the ability to discern or recognize difference. What is true and what is false, and then the nuances in between. So there are common sense observable facts, for example. The sun is hot, it's not cold. From where we live, if you want to get to the beach, you have to go east, you can't go west. Though theoretically, obviously you could, because the world is round, but this is common sense observable facts. But there's also relative perception. Look up at the ceiling. Is that up? Of course it is. But however, if you're the bird flying over, it's not up, it's down. So there is relative perception also. This is the discovery of life as we go through this natural swing of life, this duality of life. As soon as we say asato ma sadgamaya, lead me from untruth to truth, but then also from my ignorance or lack of knowledge to a more enlightened state of being. Tamaso ma jyotir gamaya. So in other words, there's a time for right and wrong, truth and untruth. A positive look on being two-faced, but also in the negative when we are being two-faced in deception, we can deceive others and deceive ourselves in not realizing the multitudinous nature that is life itself. As soon as you have duality, you have everything in its opposite. Now, this is relevant when it comes to the religions of the world, which is obviously our main focus. The very definition of monotheism is there's only one. But paradoxically, ironically, there are at least 3 monotheistic religions. So how does that work? But monotheism is really being stuck in a duality that can have positive outcomes, communities working together, but also extremely negative as one encounters all the quote-unquote others. Hence the formulation of a God and a devil. A one way only, a one book only. This is monotheism. Contrast that with polymorphism, the many forms that is life itself, the multitudinous nature. So sometimes Hindus get accused of being two-faced, deceptive. A good answer to that is no, not two-faced, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 faces. The multitudinous nature of life. Again, recognizing there is a time to recognize the natural duality of right and wrong, left and right, up and down. But also there's a time to appreciate, explore, discover the multitudinous nature of life. Hence, in the Hindu Yoga Dharma, we have an innumerable number of spirit beings. The Dharma itself, the Hindu religion, if you will, is just chock full of scriptures, not just one, innumerable actually scriptures. Chock full of spirit beings, all symbolic of the multitudinous nature that is life. Look outside your window. Do you have just one grove of trees in your yard? Perhaps in some places you do. Is there just one plant? Is there just one vegetable? Is there just one kind of creature, animal? No, this discovery of life is this multitudinous nature, hence the many faces that we see on many of our Hindu devatas, both male and female, devas and devis, symbolically representing this multitudinous nature of life, which, yes, can seem confusing sometimes and complex, but this is the great puzzle of life, the great discovery of life. This takes courage. This takes a certain zeal, a certain zest for discovery. Notice when we go to school, we don't just take one subject. We learn many subjects. To play music, you can play one note, but that would get pretty stale pretty quick. If you think about it for a moment. On a keyboard, for example, there's only 12 notes, but look at the innumerable combinations of songs that come out of those 12 notes. A great mystic from Sri Lanka who lived in the early 1900s, Yogaswami, was quoted as saying, "From zero everything came." In other words, from the nothingness comes the big bang, the simultaneous multitudinous nature that is creation itself. And he also said, with one cut you make two pieces. The duality of life, the triality, the quadrupality, the multitudinous nature of life. As humans, it's natural for us in many ways to seek for the one truth, the one way, the one deity. Just look, for example, when physicists, scientists first uncovered, though no one's ever seen an atom, the atom, the very meaning of the word, meant indivisible. They thought they found the one. However, what happened when they split the atom? Kaboom! A whole other multitudinous nature, universe opened up. So as we desperately seek for a one, which does give a sense of consolation, sense of satisfaction, everything can be split and split and split until poof, no thing. That's why this great mystic said, from zero everything came, back to zero again, back to the everything. And this is not difficult to understand because we all experience it on a daily basis as we go into the no-thingness of deep sleep. We say no-thingness because there's obviously something going on. Otherwise, we would not wake up, which we do. We go into the multitudinous nature of our daily life and then back again from zero to many. This is the binary system that makes life compute. Way back when we were still stuck in Roman numerals, life was very limited. And again, this is where the monotheistic mindset manifests as really a rigid one-way mindset. One way and only one way. Again, there may be one way to do something, but the nuance of life is that there are many ways. There's a multitudinous nature, even to the one way, which paradoxically, humorously, if you will, manifests in the fact that the one-way mindset of Christianity has created innumerable sects within Christianity. It is inevitable. And it is a fact that we actually live in a triune world, a triality, height, width, depth, and in our notion of time, past, present, future, and the constant of energy, which is latent energy, kinetic energy, and then the phenomena itself. Always remembering that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, hence no creator, as creation just is. One can even see this triune nature, or trinity, if you will, reflected in even the monotheistic religions. Now, in the Hindu yoga dharma, we look at the trinity of creation, preservation, and destruction, symbolized by the Hindu deities Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, creation, preservation, destruction, respectively. And with just a little thought, we see that these three things are going on simultaneously all of the time. Just look at your own self. You are growing up, you are being created. Yet, because of time, there's a status quo. Things don't seem to change that much that we can see. Of course, look at someone that you haven't seen for 20 or 30 years, and you can dramatically see the change. We don't see it because we're living in this shell day after day. We don't see the minute changes that are happening all of the time. That's the preservation aspect. And then as we are creating or being born and in the growth process, we are also working towards our destruction. So creation, preservation, destruction is going on all the time. The three faces, if you will, of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Now we could look at our classical Hindu yoga lifestyle as four faces, if you will. And this is very profound. So when speaking English, which is our common language, we can see a great commonality here in how we as humans get through life with this formula of striving to be honest and ethical, being fully devoted to the task at hand, to the people in our lives, developing a sense of concentration in whatever we do. And if we keep repeating this process, we will achieve a state of success. To use an acronym, we could do EDME. ED, ed, me. EDME, ethics, devotion, meditation, which simply means to concentrate, to the goal of enlightenment, if you will. EDME, ethics, devotion, meditation, enlightenment. A common process to get through life. Specifically, as Hindus, we call this classic process the four yogas of Hinduism: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga. Ethics, devotion, meditation, enlightenment. Four faces, if you will. Now, in the Saiva Hindu Yoga Dharma, and remember that Patanjali was a Saiva Hindu guru, we often speak of the five faces, the Panchmukhi of Shiva. Sadyojita, Vamadeva, Agora, Isana, Tatpurusha. Sadyojita, the revealing grace. Vamadeva, the concealing grace. Agora, destruction. Isana, the personal deity, Devata. And Tatpurusha, a cosmic understanding. So this correlates to the Namah Shivaya of the Panchakshara mantra. And do we not, in one way or another, one degree or another, focus on these five aspects? Are they not part of our lives as we have things that are concealed from us we just don't know? Things become revealed. Obviously, there's destruction going on. We certainly have a sense of our own individual self, which can often become our individual deity, our self-absorption. Or we may have a deity in the spirit realm that we focus upon. And then we also all enter into a sense of cosmic consciousness at one time or another as we just ponder the universe. We look up. We focus on the clouds and the sun and the moon. And we expand our consciousness. As we get out of our two-faced deceptive shell and enter into the multi-faced or faceted nature that is life itself, this is the state of wonder. We all had it as children. Sometimes we lose it as we grow up. In other words, innocence at birth, innocence lost. Innocence regained is the mission at all cost. So now we look at 6 faces. As we continue with this innate love for knowledge, which is actually what it means to be a philosopher, a love, philos, of knowledge. And a philosopher really emanates 3 qualities. They have a warrior quality because they're not afraid to think outside the box or be criticized. It also brings out a sense of youth, which goes along with the warrior nature. And again, it's a sense of love, philos, a love of knowledge, a searching, discovery, recognizing deception, and recognize the importance of discovery, continuing on. 6 faces. In the Hindu Yoga Dharma, we have a deity, which is actually the son of Shiva, along with Ganesha. His name is Skanda, the warrior. Muruga, the youthful warrior. Kartikeya, the 6-faced deity. In the Hindu Yoga Dharma, we have many, many scriptures, and one may read them or not. It's not mandatory. And we have several philosophies. Actually, the 6 orthodox systems of Hindu philosophy, the Shad Darshanas, which will come as a bit of a shock to those into the so-called yoga movement of today, which has been totally disordered. It's very deceptive. But people are seeking a discovery, so who knows what's going to happen in the future. But these 6 orthodox systems of Hindu philosophy, or the Shad Darshanas, Nyaya, Vaisesika, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Sankhya, and Yoga. So basically about Nyaya, logic, Vaisesika, the objects of logic, Mimamsa, rituals and why we do them. Rituals are life, but they have to have meaning, why we do them. Vedanta, the end conclusion of the Vedas, but remember, to have an end, you must have a beginning, which starts with devotion, predicated upon ethics, karma and bhakti yoga. Remember, the first word of the Vedas is Agni Mile, praise the fire, worship the fire, devotion, 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 the secret sauce of life, which must be predicated upon ethics, or else we can become devoted to the wrong thing. Then Sankhya is the science of enumeration as we seek to understand all the many nuances of life, the tattvas, the principles of life, the panchbhutas, the panchindriyas, the 5 elements, the 5 senses, and everything that involves. And is this not what we do as human beings? We seek to continue to learn, and we name and label everything. The deeper we go into something, the deeper we go, the more that is revealed. Many, many years ago, there used to be just one doctor, the country doctor. Now, as all of us know, there are so many specialties. We have a podiatrist for our feet. We have an orthopedic doctor for our bones. We have a neurologist for our nerves. We have a gastro doctor for our stomach, a pulmonologist for our lungs, a cardiologist for our heart, a psychologist for our mental and emotional states of being, and on and on and on. As we seek to quench this insatiable thirst for knowledge. Actually, in the 6th darshana, the Yoga Darshana, this is putting it all into practice with the goal of achieving a sense of union with the body, mind, and emotions, and ultimately a union with the inner essence, which Hindus call the Atmana, and then to be absorbed in the greater source of this individual Atmana. The very definition of the Sanskrit Hindu word yoga, yuj atman brahman cha, to yoke, Y-O-K-E, the body, mind, and emotions, to the inner essence, the Atmana, which some religions call the soul. It's a little bit different. And then this soul source, if you will, or this Atma source, which we call Brahman, which is not God. It's a greater source of the scientific forces of pure existence, pure consciousness, sound energy, light energy, heat energy, which translates into the human emotion of bliss or love, Satchit Ananda, the inner essence of all, and not just humans, but animals as well. As we all go on this eternal journey of self-discovery, so the next time someone perhaps accuses you of being two-faced, keeping in mind that you're not trying to be deceptive, say, no, no, no. Why two? Why not 3, 4, 5, 6? A multitudinous understanding of this creation itself. But we ultimately want to use our discoveries for the benefit of others, for goodness, not for destruction. Interestingly, when the first atomic bomb exploded in New Mexico, ahead of the program, Robert Oppenheimer was actually quoting from the Bhagavad Gita, one of the Hindu scriptures. If the radiance of 1,000 suns were to burst into the sky, it would perhaps be like the splendor of the Atmana. Divya Surya Sahasrasya Bhava Yugaparutita Yadi Bhava Sadrishi Sasyad Bhasyastasya Ma Atmana. So let's all join in this dance, this Nataraja, the divine dancer, this dance of life, this swing of life, this Saralolahara, as we go from deception to discovery, from concealing to revealing, from untruth to truth, humbly admitting what we don't know, as we seek an ever more enlightened state of being. Finding the inner philosopher, this inner love, this inner nectar, if you will, philos. Hence Hindus say, asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, amrityorma amritam gamaya. And seeking a sense of peace through understanding, peace through strength. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So a few conclusions to this podcast. And remember, conclusion is simply the ending before a new beginning as we go round and round. Interestingly, it was the monotheistic mindset that at one time falsely believed that the earth was flat, linear. There is a time for linear thinking. There is a time for rights and wrongs. But life, creation is circular. In Hindu Yoga Dharma, we use the word jagat, understanding that the world was not only round, but also moving, jagat. So we go round and round. Creation, preservation, destruction, life after life. Deep sleep to waking, back to deep sleep again. Hence the wisdom of the natural reincarnating cycles of life, as this non-created energy just simply keeps transforming. Hence no creator. Though yes, on the one hand, it is comforting in many ways to assume that one has finally found the way, the religion, the book, the creator. That can provide temporary comfort. But the thirst for knowledge will continue. It's inherent in being alive. As infants, we seek this discovery of the life around us. All creatures do. In contrast to this, when we humans in our limited mind, our masculine brain, if you will, And sometimes the worst parts of that, being hard, crude, mean, intolerant. We set up scenarios where we are not supposed to be seeking knowledge. Imagine in life itself if, as individuals, as parents, the sense of even being a teacher, if we did not encourage our fellow human beings, our children, our students, to continue to learn. Yet, in the monotheistic religions, and it's important that we be able to critique each other because all the religions of the world are human-made, of course. And as humans, we make mistakes, all of us. There are good and bad in all the different religions of the world. This is facing reality. But if we look at monotheism and rely on just one book and one creation story, this assumed creator, totally unprovable, actually put the kibosh, if you will, on learning. Telling the quote-unquote original Adam and Eve that if they ate the fruit of the tree of knowledge, game over. Enter sin. So it's sinful to seek knowledge? This runs contrary to being alive. Embracing the journey of discovery, confidently admitting what we know, and just as confidently admitting what we don't know. Being humble, humility, not humiliated. To be humble is to seek understanding. Understanding is wisdom. Antithetical to understanding is literally overstanding. This is arrogance, thinking that we have all knowledge if we know everything. And the Hindu proverb says, at this level, if we think we know not, then we better think again and again and again. Round and round we go, never stopping. Perhaps love is the only thing we know. Self-love, self-deception, self-discovery. The choice is up to us.